An immaculate inning. 9-pitch, 3 strikeout. Rarely happens in baseball.
Welcome everybody to the Immaculate Inning podcast. We're excited to be back. It's me and Shane here again.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back. A little bit of a different day. These midweeks I kind of like them a little bit. It's nice to just sit down, get a little break from homework, and talk some baseball.
It's been nice. It's been nice. There may be some changes happening. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, me and Drew are both taking Spanish. Maybe we'll do a whole Spanish episode. Maybe about like 3 years.
Maybe in a couple years.
So appreciate y'all tuning in, and I think we just get right into it. And so I guess I'll take the first one, Drew. Definitely one of the two marquee series of the week. Huge series in Toronto, where Texas went in and absolutely demolished the Blue Jays. This was rough. Texas swept them in a 4-game set. The Rangers outscored the Blue Jays 35-9. It was really just slaughter. Your boy Jordan Montgomery put up a good start, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 earned run, 3 Ks. I don't think there's a more Jordan Montgomery start than that. Like long, no runs, low Ks.
Low Ks, lowish hits, He goes out there and shoves. He limits the damage.
He really does. And I was looking at he's kind of had up and downs since he's joined the Rangers. I was looking at his
last start was pretty bad for the Rangers. Before the one right before this one against Toronto was not good.
Yeah. And he's really gonna have to step up now. Scherzer did have a good start. Pitched 5 1/3, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, and 2 Ks. Kind of a low K performance for him. Not something we're used to from Scherzer, but still effective. But that was his last start of the 2023 season, and he is ruled out for the remainder of the regular season. And has been Bruce Bochy has said that he is unlikely to pitch in the postseason too. So. That was their big acquisition. Huge loss for them. He does have one more year in his contract. I know I think they labeled it a tricep or flexor strain or something to that. It's around the elbow.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I think it was maybe originally they thought it was tricep and then they maybe moved to flexor. But yeah, it's like right there, upper elbow, I believe.
It's just tough with those things. You never know because that could be a prerequisite for a UCL injury, which I don't know. I think Scherzer may be one of the few guys that's pitched for this long that hasn't had a TJ.
Yeah, and I mean at his age too, like that's a little bit of a not scary injury, but that's definitely something to draw some concerns, especially with a guy who's dealt with arm fatigue recently. You want to be super careful of that. So, yeah, but. I mean, I'll kind of say a few notes real fast here about this series. It was pretty good to see Texas. I don't know. It's just so hard to tell what Texas is going to do. They're just so up and down right now. They have one good series, they have a bad series, and they have another good one. I don't know. It's the Scherzer injury definitely impacts them a great bit, but this was a great series for Texas to, kind of help themselves out and probably give them a good shot at the postseason. Also helps out the Mariners, but we'll talk about them a little bit later as well. But yeah, I mean, big series for Texas.
Yeah, and I think the weirdest thing about the series for Texas is that a lot of their big bats. I mean, I think Simeon had a home run or two. Same thing with Seager, but the biggest bat for them in this series and this past week has been Robbie Grossman. I didn't even know he was on the Rangers. I haven't heard that name in a while, so it kind of cracked me up. He was a top 10 offensive performer this past week. Hit for a 368 average, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 13 total bases in the past week. So, I mean, go Robbie Grossman. Really kind of funny to see somebody like that when you have the big bats, Seager. Seager, Simeon, and Garcia, which I did not actually look it up. I should have, of what Garcia's injury updates are.
And
I don't know if you know anything about that.
He is back now. He was in the lineup tonight. We will look. Him and Josh Young both returned to the lineup in the game against Boston, which they're actually currently losing 3-1. So they dropped a game last night as well. The bullpen has really been struggling for them, but Garcia has 1 hit and 2 at bats, and an RBI, and then Young is 0 for 2 with a K. So a little bit of a slow start for those two, but hey, Robbie Grossman.
When you have Robbie Grossman, he
was a Brave.
Garcia.
Just gonna throw that out there. Braves.
Immaculate grid entry for anybody out there. Rangers, Braves. No, it's we'll talk about it more later, but to be honest, this Red Sox series matters 0 to the Rangers. There's only 2 more series that they really need to care about, and they're with the same team, and we'll get into that later. Going to the debatably between this one and the one we just talked about, the most important series of the week, Tampa Bay goes to the Baltimore Orioles, and it was looking bad for the Orioles first. Lost the first 2. The Rays tied up the Orioles at the top of the division with those 2 wins, but then the Baltimore Orioles took the last 2. It was an interesting series, and I really think the Orioles are kind of smooth sailing from this point on. I think they're really cruising themselves to a division championship. I think this is what they had to do. I did want to point out some good pitching performances on both sides. Zach Eflin, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 8 Ks. And the 1 hit he allowed was a bomb to Gunnar Henderson. So the AL Rookie of the Year took him deep on an 89-mile-an-hour cutter in the hands. It was like way inside. I don't know if you saw this pitch, Drew, but I don't know how he hit it out. Just unreal bat-to-ball skills by Gunnar Henderson. But also, guy that we've talked about before, Drew, especially you, Grayson Rodriguez, G-Rod.
Yes. G-Rod.
Biggest start of the year by potentially any pitcher. The biggest start of the year, I think we could say that. 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 7 Ks in that 3rd game to kind of turn the tide of the series. It was the longest start of his career. Young career. I mean, that's the best I've seen him look. He was lights out, blowing 100 by people. I mean, he looked like what he's been touted for a long time. How do you take that going into the postseason, Drew?
Oh man, that's if I'm the Orioles, that's so reassuring. Especially after those first 2 games, you're a little nervous. All of a sudden, you've lost your 2-game lead. The Rays are hot. They're pitching well. Zach Eflin, shout out to the Rays. They did a great job with that signing. Some people may say that they overpaid, but the way he's pitched this year and how he's really been able to stabilize that rotation has been super impressive. But yeah, man, Grayson Rodriguez to show up in that game 3, man, like that. I mean, that's huge. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. That's that's like everything that, a guy like him is supposed to do. The prospect pedigree that he had, the stuff, the hype. I mean, he was one of the more hyped pitching prospects in probably the past 2 years, I think, to get called up. So to see him step up, go 8 innings like that, no runs, 7 Ks, I mean, that's massive, and I do kind of agree with you. I think that the Orioles, this kind of, I think what is so key about that is after they won that's the 2nd game, the 4th game there to go back up by 2 games. The next day games, they tend to be, maybe some hangover games, the post clinch lineups, you kind of give your guys a break. No, the Orioles did not do that. They went into Houston and won the game. Justin Verlander was on the mound, I believe. Won a tight game. Cedric Mullins with a clutch home run. So I think that says a lot to me too about this team is they're not content with just making the playoffs. They're here to play. They, a lot of these guys weren't on that 110 loss team a couple years ago. They weren't they didn't play through those miserable years just a few years ago, but they I think they kind of feel where the fan base is at, and they understand like the impact that they're having, and they want to go for it all. So that was, I mean, it's a youth movement in Baltimore. One thing, Kyle Bradish, he pitched and 7 innings, 4 earned runs. So definitely a guy who they like a lot. And, you would hope in a game like that he would step up and kind of limit the runs. 4 runs, not great, not awful, but for a guy that the Orioles are heavily leaning on as kind of their true one right now. Hopefully in the playoffs he'll be able to kind of come through and have a little bit better performance than that. But yeah, I mean, the Orioles, man, they don't quit. They haven't quit this year, and they're still not. So
Nah, I mean they're the most consistent team in baseball, and currently beating the Astros again 5-3 in the fifth as we speak. And the Rays did win today, but if the Orioles win, it'll be a 2.5 game lead, and Orioles finish up with Houston and go play Cleveland, Washington, and Boston. So not a hard schedule to end out the year. And I'll give you credit for this, Drew. He's the AL rookie. Henderson had himself a week, 323 average, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 1.021 OPS, 2 huge home runs in the Rays series, one of them being against Eflin, like I said. And the Orioles now have an 86.6% chance to make the playoff. Oh, to win the division, excuse me. 100% chance to make the playoffs. We'll talk about that later. So, yeah, the O's keep rolling. A team that's not rolling right now, the Cubs. Next series we're going to talk about is the Cubs versus the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks swept the Cubs in a 3-game set. Huge implications for both teams, as the Diamondbacks now sit as the second wildcard team, a half game above Cubs, who have gone 2-8 in their last 10 games. Could be
they're on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah, this is packed. I again, I'm trying to refrain myself because we're gonna have more of a conversation about this later. So I will refrain for now. But talking about some performance from this series, the past week, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who was hurt for a large portion of the year, 1 home run, 8 RBIs, 417 average with 1.042 OPS. And on the Cubs side, Nico Horner, a 455 average, 10 hits, and a 975 OPS the last week. And kind of on the disappointing side, because this is a guy we both really love, Justin Steele with a rare bad outing. It was a real bad outing. 6 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 home runs, 5 Ks. Only the second time this year that he has allowed more than 3 earned runs at the start. So I'm not going to go too much into that series other than huge implications because we will talk about the wild card situation later. But I do want to ask, does this effectively end Steele's Cy Young campaign, especially with Blake Snell having a crazy good start again?
That was the question that came to my mind. That I was, if you didn't ask it, I was going to ask it. Does this give Blake Snell the key to the door for the Cy Young? And I mean, it's so tough. And I read an article today about Blake Snell and how he's just a statistical anomaly this year, just with the walks and he's fine with walking people. Like his mentality is like, I don't care about walks. I only care about getting outs. And I believe he's leaving runners on base this year at an 85% clip, which is just insane, which actually would not be the highest all time. He, in fact, there's 4 other people who have finished with a higher percentage of runners left on base and won a Cy Young, one of which being his 2018 Cy Young year, which he finished at an 88% clip. So it's super interesting how he's been able to kind of pitch around the walks that he gives up. And, one attribute to this may be the Padres defense as well. They have one of the better defensive teams in the league with Trent Grissom, Fernando Tatis, Machado. You got Xander Bogaerts, Ha-Seong Kim, even Jake Cronenworth. So you've got some really good defenders behind him that are kind of helping him out with that. But I'll be honest. I think in my mind, I think this does end Steele's Cy Young bid, but I also think that there are no real standouts because in all honesty, like there are 6 pitchers who could potentially win the Cy Young this year in the NL, and they all have holes poked in their argument. Strider's ERA is too high, gives up too many home runs. Zach Gallen just hasn't been quite as effective as you wanted to. Steele, he's had this bad start here, and he doesn't quite have a full workload because he got called. Or no, he does have full workload, but Snell's got the high walk rate, so it's. I don't know. I mean, in my mind, yes, it does, but I think that the voters, it will not be that simple.
Yeah, the AL Cy Young is very lopsided. Garrett Cole currently sits at it at minus 1,800 favorite. Uh, he's the American League Cy Young.
Pains me to say
And
so, but
yeah, I'm not a Yankees fan, but I almost respect like a guy like that who's been so close so many times. Like
mhm.
I don't know if I'm a Garrett Cole fan either, but I do appreciate the way he goes up and is an absolute menace on the mound.
Oh yeah,
So
he pitches.
he's
He goes up there
competitive.
and pitches every day. But I do wish it was Kevin Gausman. I love Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, he's really slipped. The guy that's actually on the
Yeah,
rise. Castillo's kind of now been in a second for a while, but
yeah.
Sonny Gray is making a push at the end of the year. Really, he's having some
He's good
great
too.
starts.
Yeah.
Um, Blake Snell, according to FanDuel Sports, sits at a minus 750, which was he was a minus 200 last week when blew up. So it has gone up a lot for him. And Justin Steele is still the second, then Spencer Strider, then Logan Webb, then Zach Wheeler, then Zach Gallen, because Gallen has had 2 really
Hmm.
rough starts. So yeah, I do think personally Blake Snell is Cy Young. Just low ERA mixed with the high K rate is I think going to push him over. So that'll be interesting to watch. Um, I think we roll right into our last 2 series that I think we're going to be pretty short on, because not as much significant with this. I don't mean to crap on your Braves, I guess, but they are on a 4-game losing skid. Not that it matters; they've already secured a first round bye in the playoffs. But Miami swept the Braves in a 3-game set. The Marlins outscored the Braves 36-13. Uh, the Braves, like I said, have lost 4 straight, and some standout performers for the Marlins. Luis Rise, 4 home runs. He only has 10 this year, mind that. So 4 of his 10 home runs have come in the past week. 452 average, 1.323 OPS, has the highest OPS of any hitter this week. And then Jake Berger, uh,
Yes.
old White Sox. I love Berger. 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 345 average, and a 1.61 OPS in the last week. And then kind of from the Braves side, uh, their offense kind of stalled in this series, which is
Yeah, it did
weird to
not
hear
look
from the
good.
Braves.
Well,
Yeah.
Acuna missed 2 out of the 3 games, so that is a factor.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to help the 16-2 loss where Morton absolutely got rocked.
Yeah. Elder looked bad as well, and Jared
I
Schuster.
just I just like mess with you. No, this Braves team is still obviously the best team in the league. Just kind of a little hiccup, if anything. Austin Riley looked real good, as I was going to point out. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 318 average, and 1.044 OPS in the last week. You have any comments on this series? I really don't have much more to say.
No, I mean, Jared Schuster started 1 game. That's just giving up a guy some innings. Morton, would like to see better out of him, but I'm not too concerned. I wish the offense had played a little bit better. The bullpen just really was not great, but yeah, Acuna did exit that first game and did not play in the next 3 games. But he's back tonight. He has 2 home runs against the Phillies, so he's up to 39 homers on the year. Just a quick note too to kind of go back on the Cy Young conversation just real fast. By no means do I think Spencer Strider should win the Cy Young, but he did just turn in a 11 strikeout performance. He gave up a 3-run bomb to Bryce Harper, but he did add 11 more strikeouts and no walks in 6 innings. So, just a quick note. But yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to say about this. Like the Marlins are hot. They needed those wins, and honestly, the Braves probably didn't really care. They probably were like, all right, whatever. Like, this series isn't important. So that's really all I have to say.
Yeah, and the Braves are currently winning 9-3, so
Yep.
they will snap that skid tonight. Knock on wood kind of thing. Yeah, so we move to our last series, and that being the Dodgers versus the Mariners. Actually, before I forgot to mention, the implications from the last series come to the Miami side, who are now tied for that third wild card spot with the Chicago Cubs and the Reds. So again, we'll talk about that in the talking point section. But same thing here. Dodgers versus Mariners. Dodgers have no implications. They are the 2 seed in the NL. Will have a first round bye. The Mariners are the one with the implications, and the Dodgers swept them in 3-game set. So not good for them. In an interesting position that they play the Rangers in 7 of the last 12 games. So this series really doesn't matter. It's only those Rangers series that matters. Whoever, some different scenarios in there we'll talk out, but those 2 series are really the ones that matter. Freddie Freeman continues to rake. He did break the Dodgers double record. It was 53. He is at 55.
He's closing in on the league record, right? The league record is what, 60 or 61?
Let me see. I don't think he's going to get that. I think because we have 12 to 13 more games depending on the team. And so that'd be pretty good. I mean, it's doable, but would be a tear. Although Freddie Freeman has obviously been on a tear kind of all year. So
it's 67. So yeah, I don't think Freeman.
Yeah. Is there an NL record maybe?
NL is 64.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be reaching either of those numbers.
I think all these guys were before World War II, so I think he is maybe chasing the post expansion era record. But yeah, great player, great guy too.
He really is. Is a face of the league, should be. Really good with the media, unlike a guy we'll talk about later. I personally think the Mariners are in some trouble in the wild card picture, and I think with that, let's get into the wild card picture.
Yep, let's head right into it.
Yeah, so this wild card picture has gotten real interesting, Drew.
Oh, yeah.
Real interesting. I guess let's start with the AL because it's a shorter conversation. It's a 4-team conversation. The Tampa Bay Rays will either win the AL East or be that number 1 wild card spot. As we said earlier, or as I said earlier, I think they're the number 1 wild card spot. I don't think they're going to catch the Orioles. They're 10 games ahead of third wild card spot and 9 games ahead of the second. The Toronto Blue Jays currently sit in the second wild card spot at a game ahead of both the Rangers and Mariners, who are tied for that third wild card spot. The Rangers are currently on a 4-game losing streak, while the Mariners are not playing well either, only winning 3 of their last 10. So I think Rays Blue Jays is going to stay the same. Mainly for the reason that, like I said, the Mariners and Rangers play each other 7 of their last 12 games. And so it's really just, I mean, obviously the other games come into play if one of the teams wins 4 of the 7 or something like that. But if it's lopsided where a team wins 5 or more of those games, that team's pretty much in unless something really goes bad because, I mean, you separate yourself. So it's really the conversation. Who's winning those 2 series, the Mariners and the Rangers? So I'll let you talk about that first.
Man, that's such a tough question. I mean, oh man, I love the Mariners pitching staff. I mean, it's elite. It's awesome to watch. They've got young guys. They've got a Cy Young potential contender.
And I will say, I'll help you out a little bit too, if this helps you out. There's a 3-game set in Toronto or in Texas and a 4-game set in Seattle.
Ooh. And the 4-game is to finish the season in Seattle?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's a playoff series.
That's a playoff series in Seattle, known electric atmosphere in the playoffs. Oh, man. Wow. I
That
mean,
splits at home for both these teams.
so let's see. We got Nathan Eovaldi, John Gray, Dane Dunning, Jordan Montgomery versus Castillo, Kirby, Wu, and Logan Gilbert. Oh, man. I'm gonna be honest. I think Texas. I like Texas's lineup a lot more, especially with Young and Garcia coming back. I mean, Corey Seager, if it wasn't for Shohei Ohtani, Corey Seager would be walking away with the AL MVP, and I think people have overlooked that point. And Marcus Simeon's been great this year. Has played in almost every game, I believe. I do not know if if he's missed any games at all, it's been below 5. So I think I'd take Texas just because I like their staff. Their bullpen scares me, but I think that I like their lineup more than I like Seattle's lineup, and that's what pushes me over. But let me look at. I'm looking at Toronto's schedule. They have let's see. They have to finish the season. They are in New York playing the Yankees. Then they're in Tampa Bay against the Rays, and then they finish. Then they have the Yankees at home, and then they finish up with the Rays at home. So I mean, we could be looking at the Mariners, losing they have 7 games, losing 4 out of their last 7, and still making the playoffs because the Toronto gets swept in the last 2 series against the Rays and end up falling below the Mariners. I mean, but I think Texas wins. I think Texas takes the 2 series and they make it into the playoffs. And I think Mariners are out. I think Toronto will take care of business down the stretch, especially with the Yankees. 6 game against the Yankees, and then they have 7 against the Rays.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same impression. I think Blue Jays are going to do enough to stay in.
Yeah.
So, did you have a? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Keep going.
No, you're good. I was just they are currently beating the Yankees right now 9-1 in the bottom of the 9th. So I'm not worried about them getting swept by the Yankees. Yeah. So I'm right there with you. I think the Toronto holds on to their second wild card spot, and it's I'm gonna take the Rangers. Where are you leaning, Shane?
I think I'm leaning Rangers too. Kind of for the reason also. Like I know I said that the games outside of these 2 series don't matter as much. But the Mariners have Oakland, who they're playing now in a 2-game set, and they are currently tied. The game just started 0-0. And then their other series is the Astros.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Rangers, who have to playing the Red Sox in a series right now, and then play the Angels. So outside of these 2, Rangers do have the easier schedule. Rangers are losing 3-2 to the Boston Red Sox right now. So every game is valuable, but dude, actually, this is tough. The probable matchups for the first series, game 1, Bryce Miller versus Dane Dunning. Game 2, Logan Gilbert versus TBD for the Rangers. And game 3, Brian Wu versus Jordan Montgomery.
Brian Wu just had a really nice start the other day.
Yeah, he's had 2. He's pitched I think 11 scoreless innings in his past 2 starts. So he's been on fire. And then they have Castillo, Kirby, and Miller lined up at Houston. So it'd be Gilbert, Wu, and
Miller
Castillo, I guess,
or
again.
Castillo,
So
yeah.
some overlap and kind of using pitchers twice against the Rangers. I don't know if they'll switch that up. They probably won't, just to kind of try to keep guys on their same rotation. But I wanted to say Rangers coming into this, man, but ending the year in Seattle, pitching is gross. The Rangers are not playing good ball right now. About to lose a game, likely to the Red Sox, and had a lot of bad picks this season, Drew. I'm going to take the Seattle Mariners.
Oh man.
I just changed my mind off this because that 4-game set to end the year, I think we'll see Julio Rodriguez shine. I think we'll see this. It's really going to be the pitching staff that I think comes down. Um, that
Yep.
that carries the Mariners into the postseason. Really, I think this will be kind of the talking point, the laughing stock of other than the Angels of the MLB is this Texas demise, potentially out of the postseason. So yeah, I think I'm gonna pick the Mariners, which I don't know if I like that pick, but that's what we're gonna go with.
It's a tough pick. I mean, it's a tough two teams that are both good. I mean, I think on paper the Rangers are a lot better, but they've been handed some significant injuries. We got some cold bats. The bullpen's not great. I don't know. I mean, it's tough, but
On a
you know,
4-game losing skid too. I just don't know if I have faith in them.
yeah,
About to be 5, likely.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Mariners. I got the Mariners locked in. You got the Rangers locked in. We'll get a better idea this week after the 3-game set. So next
Oh
week
yeah.
will be an interesting talking point before the basically playoff series. That is that last series of the Mariners.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now getting into even more interesting conversation, this NL wildcard race that the
Oh
Chicago Cubs
man.
decided to spice up a little more even. Um, uh, Before I lay out this kind of the scene of it, do you want me to include the Giants in here? They're 2 games back.
No, no. I mean, last week we kind of said this, but well, wait. No, yeah, no, because I mean, we kind of said this last week. Like they're pretty much out of it. Like it's going to be very tough for them to be able to claw back into it, even though they're only 2 games out. I mean, we kind of they don't have enough firepower. I think we kind of touched on that. So I would not include them. You can if you want to because it's only 2 games, but I think realistically we can kind of eliminate them.
They play the Dodgers 7 more times.
Yeah. So
and they're playing Arizona right now, beating them 2-1 in the bottom of the first. So kind of too early to tell. Okay. I agree with that. I don't think the Giants are in this conversation really anymore, or realistically. So laying it out, the Phillies 3.5 games ahead in that first wild card spot, 3 games above the Arizona Diamondbacks, who currently sit a half game above the Chicago Cubs, the Miami Marlins, and the Cincinnati Reds, who are all tied for that third wild card spot. I think both me and you are kind of under the impression that the Phillies will hold that top wild card spot. I'm pretty confident that the Phillies will be the number 1 wild card spot. Oof. I have to hand it over to you, Drew. Between the Diamondbacks, Cubs, Marlins, Reds, what does the second and third um, spots who they go to? Chicago Cubs are currently beating the Pittsburgh Pirates 5-1. I don't
did
know. I think I need a
the
little time to think.
did the I
Reds
I'm
lost 7-0 to the Twins
the
today,
Reds
and Marlins
lost.
won. Reds lost,
It's
Marlins won.
I guess Fangraphs has not updated their site yet because they have the Marlins a half game back and the Reds tied with the Cubs. But MLB.com has Chicago Marlins tied and Cincinnati half game back. So that's interesting that it's different like that. So
I believe those games just ended.
okay, that's
Yeah. ESPN has those 3 teams tied for the third spot. Arizona a half game ahead.
Let's see. So what did you ask? Sorry, I got distracted by Fangraphs.
No, you're good. I said that first of all. I think the impression is that the Phillies will take that number 1 spot.
Oh, easily. What are they? They are
Yeah, pretty
what's
confident.
oh, they're only
Only
3 and a
3 games
half.
ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
I still think, I mean, they're going to lose actually today.
They already did. The game just ended, I believe.
So they have Braves,
tomorrow.
Braves and the Mets. Okay, yeah. Braves, Mets, Pirates, Mets. I think I'm going to count them as number one. Who do you think of the 2 and 3? This is so tough.
This is really tough. And, kind of, oh, man. I mean, this is really tough. The 2 and the 3. Man. What is the Cubs schedule look like? Who do they have for the rest of the season? Let's see. Let me
I just look at the Diamondbacks. Yeah, look up the Cubs. Diamondbacks have San Francisco, New York, the White Sox, and the Houston Astros.
Okay.
So not a terribly tough.
The Cubs are currently beating the Pirates right now. They have a 3-game set at home. Then the Rockies come to town. Then they go to Atlanta and then finish up in Milwaukee. Oof, those last 2 series could define their season. Because let's see, they are the Brewers have actually been playing really well recently. Well, they've lost 2 straight, but they are 6 games ahead of the Cubs, so I don't think the Cubs will reach them. Oh man.
Listen to this Reds schedule.
Read me the Reds schedule.
1 more game against Minnesota, 3 games set against Pittsburgh, 2 games set against Cleveland, and 3 games set against St. Louis. So they by far have the easiest schedule. And I haven't looked at the Marlins yet, but I can guarantee you that's the easiest schedule.
Yeah, I'll look at the Marlins real fast. Let's see. They have they finish up a series. They just walked off the Mets tonight. Just recently they finish up with the Mets tomorrow. Then they had the Brewers at home. They are in New York against the Mets, and then finish up with the Pirate in Pittsburgh. And lots of Pirates. All these teams are playing the Pirates towards the end of the season. This is interesting.
That is funny.
Oh man,
they should be happy.
I think that I'm going to take out Cincinnati. I think without Mac McClain, Mac McClain is hurt. Is he correct?
Is he a deal breaker?
He's by far the best hitter. I mean, he's been the most consistent.
I mean, Edwin
he could be activated next week is what I'm saying. Is he could be activated. His return is maybe potentially next Tuesday. I mean, they don't have any pitching. Ellie De La Cruz has been extremely inconsistent. All their other rookies have been solid, but inconsistent. Like the true performer there has been Mac McClain. I mean, if he had a full body of work like Gunnar Henderson, we would probably be saying it would be a conversation between him and Corbin Carroll for the NL Rookie of the Year, just because he plays excellent defense at shortstop and he's been a great hitter. I just don't believe in the pitching staff of the Reds. They have too many rookies. They have too many just not good pitchers. I just don't believe in their lineup, and I don't believe in their rotation. The Orioles are a young lineup, but they're mature and they're an experienced lineup. And I think whereas the Reds are also a young lineup, but they are not very mature yet. And I think those big moments kind of intimidate them a little bit. Potentially, and that they will more likely than not show up. So I get rid of Cincinnati. I think they're a year away. I think this is great to see them in contention. It's awesome. I think that they should go and be active in the in free agency and in the offseason with maybe some trades or stuff. But I think next year is more likely for them. I don't know. I think Arizona holds on to a spot. I love Christian Walker, big Christian Walker fan. And I like their rotation. Mira Kelly and Zach Gallen, both very good. They've got a decent bullpen. Paul Sewald has kind of settled into his role there. Man, I think I go Chicago. The Marlins. Actually, no. I'll take the Marlins. The Marlins are hot right now. The bats are hot. The boys are playing well. The pitching's been great. The bullpen is looking better. Jake Burger bombs. I'm going Marlins, dude. I think they sneak in there. You know, they have not allowed Sandy Alcantara's injury to hinder them. They're buzzing. They're ready to go. I'm going Marlins.
I'm going the same thing as you. I got Phillies 1, Diamondbacks 2, Marlins 3. I think the Cubs are another laughing stock of the league when they choke away this playoff spot.
Let's not say they're a laughing stock of the league or they're choking away a playoff spot. This team was not supposed to be anywhere close to contention this year. Like they took a flyer on Cody Bellinger. They signed Dansby Swanson to kind of lead the team in years future. They brought, Stroman in. That was an interesting contract, but I think they were hoping that he would kind of stay. This is a team that was by no means supposed to be this and contend this well this year. It wasn't until the All-Star break and when they traded for Candelario and all that. But,
you're right. It's not fair to call them laughing stock, but it is going to be criticized because, you could kind of say the same for the Marlins and the Diamondbacks. Like, I guess the Diamondbacks had a little bit more high expectations from maybe an improvement last year, but even the Reds being in this conversation with the Cubs is not great. And Candelario, actually, he had that hot start. He's not been good since the Cubs got him. He's hitting 237 since the All-Star break. He 5 home runs, slugging at 449. So decent slugging, just it's not been good. Not up to the kind of level of production he was producing at. One of the better players since the All-Star break has been Nico Horner. Outside of Cody Bellinger.
I just pulled up his stats. 21 stolen bases, 307 average. He has 22 walks, 38 strikeouts, and 4 home runs, but he also has been playing excellent defense at second to reinforce Dansby Swanson up the middle and looking like a very solid middle of the infield duo there. Both guys of who can hit the ball well and play excellent defense. So that's been it's been super cool to see him. He had the epic bat flip walk-off home run earlier a couple weeks ago. So, the Cubs, they've got some building pieces for next year. Maybe extend Bellinger, Pete Crow Armstrong. I'll pull up his stats real fast. He's only I don't even know how many at-bats he even has.
He only has 8, and he doesn't have a hit yet.
So, maybe some room to work with him. Maybe he will mature a little bit, but that's exciting. Great defense. His first start, he made that incredible play in the gap, ran the ball down deep in the gap in Colorado, which is a massive field, slides, picks it just before it hits the ground, backhand, beautiful play. Extremely impressive, especially for a rookie to make a great read and close the ground like that. So the Cubs, next year, next couple of years, they could be potentially uproot the Brewers for the division. So
yeah, I think a guy that's interesting on this team is, I kind of forgot he was on this team. Trey Mancini only has 30 at bats since the All-Star break. He is, I think they might have released him actually.
Yeah, I believe he got DFA'd.
Yeah. So guy that maybe they had more higher expectations for. And a guy on the other side that's actually kind of flying on the radar. Seiya Suzuki's hitting 296 since the All-Star break. Guy that's really helped him down the stretch. His 275 for the year, 18 bombs, 65 RBIs, 470 slugging. So really
good defense as well.
Yeah, I do think this team's gonna slip out though. I think the wrong time of the year to get cold is really what it comes down to. Baseball's a momentum game, and they don't have it going for them.
Especially those last 2 series; those are really the killers. I don't know. We'll see what the Braves are like. In that series, they probably won't be full strength. They'll probably be pitching maybe some minor leaguers or stuff. But I mean, the lineup is legit no matter who you plug in. And then that final series against the Brewers may be the nail in the coffin for them. So the Brewers pitching is just, I mean, insane. In a down year for Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta has put up a career year. So,
Yeah. Breaking news: the Texas Rangers just overtook the Boston Red Sox 4-3 in the top of the seventh. So, kind of relating back to what we were saying. But yeah, I think I was actually kind of surprised we were in agreement on this. Yeah, I hope the battling fish. I actually am excited. I want to see them. Jazz Chisholm healthy. Hopefully, Sandy can get back from his elbow issues. And with that, I think it might be a good transition right into our kind of key injuries. It's kind of a new portion that I don't know if we're going to continue, but this time of year we see a lot of them and a lot of impactful ones. So yeah, you want to lead this portion, Drew?
Yeah. I think let's just right off the bat, let's just jump into it. A little bit of Angels drama. So we talked about did we talk about it last week, him clearing out his locker and disappearing, or was that had that not happened yet?
No, we have not talked about that.
That had not happened yet. Reports came out that Shohei basically, seemingly in the middle of the night or at some point in the evening, cleared out his locker and just basically disappeared. Team personnel and media members came in the next morning and found his locker cleared out. Not a lot of information was released, and then as it's come out, it has been the Angels have announced that his oblique injury was too severe for him to continue to play the rest of the year, and that he is going to undergo some sort of elbow surgery. We do not know what it is. There's been rumors that he does not want Tommy Johns. He wants to explore an alternative method. We'll have to see what exactly he goes. We honestly may not find out what type of surgery he gets until he signs with a team. So we could be waiting a while to hear about this. Some more Angels drama. The Anthony Rendon saga just continues to add. It just continues to build upon itself. I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised by that. But so as we know, he's been dealing with a bone bruise all year. He's been avoiding media, kind of being, just not nice, just being kind of obnoxious to the media. And recently he was asked, I believe this was over the weekend. He was asked, hey Anthony, like, how are you doing or whatever, like any updates? And he just kind of casually goes, broken bones, they take a while to heal. A little bit of backstory to this: Anthony Rendon consulted 4 doctors about his bone bruise. 2 were chosen by the Angels, 2 were chosen by him. All 4 came back, said he had a bone bruise. All of a sudden, he's like, yeah, he basically, the media members, when they hear him reference a broken bone, they're like, what? Like, what the heck? Like, he was like, oh yeah, I broke my bone in my shin or whatever. So it has been announced that he went to a 5th doctor on his own, who then said that he had broken a bone in his leg, fractured it, whatever. So he basically took the stance of, oh, well, the Angels should have told the media this. Like, oh, I can't believe the Angels didn't announce this. See, they're trying to blah, 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 like, do all this stuff, whatever. So nobody knows what to expect. I think Angels fans are tired of Rendon, but he will be sticking around. So that was just kind of a quick note about those 2 things. I don't know if you have anything to say about that, Shane, but Ohtani, that's kind of, I figured this would have happened earlier. Surprised that it took this long. And then Rendon never ceases to amaze, never ceases to entertain with the absurdity of his situation in Anaheim.
Yeah. My comments on Rendon is he's kind of cancer. He's just kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
How he approaches the media. Had that incident where he basically assaulted a fan for talking crap. You're a professional, act like one, kind of my thing. The Ohtani, again, I'm the same page as you. Kind of surprised that he can't get shut down earlier, and he got shut down because it's oblique injury, but ultimately it's because it's elbow injury. I'm sure it's like, but Jeff Passan was the one that reported he's getting some sort of elbow surgery, and we kind of already all knew that. But I've heard, like you said, get some of the experimental, and also just I've heard just a repair to his Tommy John surgery because there is the reconstruction, the repair where they put uh, a plate or a plastic kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing into it to secure the UCL. So I wouldn't be surprised if he opts for that this time.
Oh,
Um,
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I did see something today. Let's see if I can find it real quick. A tweet that basically gave a timeline for Shohei. It said that basically that he planned to hit at the big opening day 2024. He plans to bat and then plans to pitch in 2025. So those are not. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just remembered that I had seen that. So we will see how that goes.
that's doable with the repair,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean that's a tight timeline. Interesting. I'd never heard of that. Um, I don't know how I feel about him clearing out his locker. I mean, I get that he's not going to be an angel any longer, but I don't know what message that portrays to your teammates. I guess I understand the Angels have not really stood by him and fulfilled things that he wanted or what we knew could come out of the Otani era in Anaheim. But I don't know.
He
My
did.
emotions are kind of mixed on that.
He underwent surgery this morning. It does not say what procedure. All it says is
Yeah,
Shohei
they're not.
Ohtani underwent procedure, but he expects to hit 2024 and then pitch in 2025. So
I bet it's going to be the repair.
yeah, it's all
Um,
I'm seeing is procedure elbow surgery. So yeah, 2 Tommy Johns in the span of what 3 or 4 years is that's a big toll on your body. So
yeah, I think with that we roll through
yep.
some of the other injuries.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, another big injury. Manny Machado's out for the year. Is going to receive elbow surgery for tennis elbow in the offseason. Machado, another guy that maybe some people don't like very much. Kind of has been labeled a locker room cancer. Has been expected to step up in that Padres locker room as a leader, and some comments were made by him where maybe it seems that there has not been much leadership. He essentially said that the team's attitude has been kind of entitled and that they haven't really been they really haven't been super sort of looking for. They've just been kind of coasting by, and it's worked out for them the past couple seasons because they've been winning. But this year that kind of mentality has come back, and now they're having to face the noise, face their consequences. So interesting that Machado came out and said that. But yeah, this is this is not very significant. The Padres are out of it, but we'll see what this does to him. Maybe in
does
the
expect
future
to
for
be
next
back
year.
start of 2024 season.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sweet. So
You just hit on some small ones. I guess just run through them. Alcantara has the UCL sprain.
mhm.
Kind of suspicious. Don't know if I'm fully sold that that's not something bigger.
Yeah,
Um,
especially with his
15
season.
day, yeah, 15-day DL. Um, Yelich on the 10-day DL for back stiffness. Um,
That could be
Carlos
big,
Correa deal. It could. It really could.
especially with the
Brewers
prior
playing
back
really good
issues.
ball. Yeah.
So
Uh, Carlos Correa dealing with plantar fasciitis, which is it's a foot condition, causes a lot of pain. Actually, my dad had it. It was unpleasant for him. So I
yeah.
can't imagine playing baseball with that. That could be big too. 'Cause Twins are actually
hmm
playing pretty good ball right now too. So a playoff
Yep.
team. And then the biggest actually news that I didn't put on here and I remembered is that Felix Bautista threw a 20 pitch bullpen yesterday. So
Uh-oh.
so he's back on the mound. I mean, obviously they can't say for sure that he's going to make a late season or postseason return, but he did throw an on mound bullpen. That's exciting for Orioles fans. Would love to get him back.
That's huge. That's potentially huge.
Yeah, Drew. We do have a couple ending shout outs that I'll let you go through because one of these shout outs pertains to your trivia question.
Oh man. You know, this first shout out brings me great joy, makes me smile. Adam Wainwright finally gets his 200th career win at home in front of a home crowd at Busch Stadium. You love to see it. Love Adam Wainwright. Stand up guy, walks the stadium after every start, talks to everybody. Great guy. Awesome to see him do that. Only the third Cardinals pitcher in history to do so. So 200 career wins is becoming a sort of a scarce achievement. Not a lot of pitchers are on track for it. The Rays are officially getting a new ballpark. It will not be in Tampa Bay. It is just a mile or two away from the old stadium or the current stadium. It is in St. Petersburg, I believe is the name of the town. So right there outside of Tampa Bay. A lot of people wanted them to move into Tampa Bay. That may not have been possible, especially in such a big city like that. But they may not have been able to find the land parcel that they wanted. Obviously, we talked about this earlier. Rays, Orioles clinch postseason berth. That's huge for both those teams, specifically the Orioles. They're back after a longish drought. I mean, upward 6 or 8 years, I believe.
2016.
2016.
Was
So 7 years. And then also the Braves do clinch postseason bye and home field advantage in the NLDS. So, yeah. Those are kind of the big shout outs for the week. Should be getting some more here in the next week and a half. Dodgers also clinched their division as well.
Oh yeah, they did. You're correct. I forgot to include that, but they did. And I think we have 2 more weeks or 2 more episodes of regular season baseball, and then we get to talk about some postseason baseball. We may be doing it by Wildcard series, division series, kind of talk about each one after.
Yeah.
But let's end it off with a good trivia question that I think you can get with no hints, potentially, including Wainwright. So he's one of the 5. Who are the 5 active pitchers with 200 or more wins?
Justin Verlander, Zach Greinke. I know those are 2.
Yes.
I want to say Max Scherzer. Let's see. Current pitchers. Oh man, because there's 5 of them. I just saw this the other day. The tweet. There's lots of stuff talking about it.
Dang, I was trying to go creative. I looked this up like all baseball reference stuff.
Oh really?
Dang, okay. I didn't know there was a tweet about it. Anyway,
yeah,
it's fine.
So let's see. Those are 3. Shoot, who am I forgetting? Let's see. It's got to be. Does Madison Bumgarner count? No, he hasn't even achieved 200 wins, so he wouldn't even count, even if he had gotten
this one is surprising that you're not getting.
I know that the last 2 I should know.
Well, one of them's Wainwright, so.
Oh, one of them is Wainwright, so I'm the last one. Oh shoot,
you're missing one.
So I got Verlander, Greinke, Wainwright, and who else did I say? I said Scherzer. Oh man. It's not Charlie Morton because he is not. He's at like 140.
No, you got to think about better pitchers.
No, I know. It's not Rich Hill. He's not good enough.
Icon of this generation.
Icon of this generation?
Debatably the best pitcher of this generation. Maybe
Kershaw. Oh my gosh.
Kershaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting there. Oh man, that shit. I love Kershaw. Oh man. Dang, that sucks. I love him. He's awesome.
Yeah. Verlander with 255, Greinke with 224, Scherzer with 214, Kershaw with 209, which I would actually expect
he barely scraped in. So,
and Wainwright with 200. So Verlander actually, I mean, it would be surprising, but has a glimpse of a shot at 300. You don't think so?
No, there's no way. I think even if his body holds up, I think that he's probably nearing the end of his career. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know. We'll see. I don't know him personally. I haven't heard a lot about him talk about his personal life or anything. I mean, I know he's got a family and all that, but I mean, he could do it. He could try, but I think even if his body held up, he would probably want to just, probably be. I think he'd be okay with ending his career within the next season or two. So, but
Closest guy in a while. I mean, I think the
yeah,
last guy to hit it was Randy Johnson with 303.
love
Yeah, he
some Randy.
was
Randy was
most
great.
recent guy and likely the last guy.
Yeah,
To be honest.
with just the way the game's shifting probably. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's everything we've got for y'all. Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to follow the Instagram, email us, DM us any questions, share us on social media, text your friends, share our posts on your story, all that. We really appreciate it. Quick notes. We will most likely be moving the podcasts to Wednesday evenings. It's just more convenient for both me and Shane. Sundays have become quite the chaotic days, as have Mondays and Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays, and Saturdays. So we will be shooting for Wednesday evenings. We will keep y'all updated about that, but that should be it. I think hopefully we're going to have some guests here soon. Definitely once the season ends, we will have absolutely at least one guest, if not more. So yeah, some things to look forward to. So yeah, thanks everybody. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.